Hey, this is Mark, and today's discussion is on the silent brain drain behind your dinner plate. Yeah, that sounds scary. Okay, Western diet. That is what a lot of people eat, and I see them in the restaurants doing that. It bears little resemblance to the foods we used to eat as humans, right? Whole, unprocessed foods, lots of grains and carbs, excessive sugars, inflammatory seed oils. This is not what your body was designed to eat. Okay, and it affects you. Eating that kind of food causes chronic inflammation, blood sugar dysregulation, excessively high blood sugar, and the high insulin that goes with that. Lots of oxidative stress causes lots of damage to your cells in your body, and gut microbiome disruption. Well, think about it. Your gut is where all the stuff you're eating, plus a lot of the bugs and stuff that are in our food and that are supposedly in our gut to help us. Well, they're all in the gut, and if the tight linkages between the cells in the gut microbiome open up, and that's what gut microbiome disruption talks about, and these things open up, then there's pathways for all this stuff that shouldn't be there to get into your bloodstream, and that causes all kinds of disruption in your body. So you gotta be really careful with that. Okay, in terms of dementia, well, despite the fact that we've made great progress in a bunch of other areas over the last 40 years of medicine, right? Dementia rates are still continuing to climb dramatically, and it's getting worse. And these declines are appearing earlier and earlier in people, right? Uh, my mother, who died a little while ago, she had Alzheimer's, and it became quite obvious by the time she was in her later 60s that she was just completely lost to the point that we had to have her live in our house as a family. So yeah, that does happen. Um, the true impact remains hidden. Um, People can operate with dementia and apparently do so for quite a while. Um, we won't mention the previous president, right, as an example. The children who grew up during the ultra processed food explosion of the 80s and 90s, and that's a little bit after me. Uh, I'm a boomer, so I'm a little bit before the true ultra food processed explosion, but I was in that time frame as well. Well, guess what? We're now approaching middle age, and our cognitive bills are just starting to come up. You're starting to find out more and more people who are in their 50s and 60s and 70s are showing tremendous signs of dementia. And there is a concept that Alzheimer's is a genetically predisposed disease, but they're finding that genetic link is not there very much anymore, and really does appear to be really fostered around food. In fact, many uh, clinical psychiatrists are calling Alzheimer's type 3 dementia or type 3 diabetes. Okay, linking it closely to metabolic disease and food health. So, modifiable diet. All right, if you change your diet, you can change the factors that cause dementia. Traditional diets that are high in animal products, healthy fats, and unprocessed foods correlate with lower dementia rates. This is just proven beyond a shadow of a doubt. There are multiple paths. You don't have to eat carnivore. You don't have to eat necessarily a ketogenic diet. You can go paleo, or you can go something else. But get rid of the processed foods and the seed oils. And if you're having some dementia problems, if you're showing signs of this, getting into a therapeutic ketogenic level, which is a very a restrictive ketogenic diet, but one that we can help you with getting into, has shown to have remarkable help in increasing the neuroplasticity and resilience of the brain, right? Really, really high probability here. So you got to think about this. Beyond individual choice. Okay, this is one of those ones where I'm going to break a couple myths here. Food deserts. Lack of accessible, affordable, nutritious foods in certain communities. Pretty much that's an urban myth. There are places that, yes, there aren't really good grocery stores, but to eat a very nutritious, low carb meal doesn't require big giant grocery stores. All it requires is access to a butcher or to a meat market. So it's there. Agriculture subsidies. Well, this is part of it. Follow the money. There's a ton of money that goes from the government into the ag business, primarily the ones that are growing and producing the cheap grains into cheap processed foods into what the government subsidizes. Follow the money. It is not about your health, it's about the money. Marketing practices. Follow the money again. Right? These processed foods are addictive and they know it. The same scientists who got everyone addicted to tobacco in the early parts of the 20th century are the same scientists that are working in the food industry now, getting you addicted to processed foods. Okay? It's not health, it is addiction. Addiction means you buy a lot more of their product and they make money. Okay, social economic realities. Okay, I'm going to break a myth here. Limited financial resources to eat a good ketogenic carnivore diet is actually cheaper than buying the processed food, the junk. And I can walk anyone through how to shop at the grocery store. You don't need to buy the most expensive ribeyes to eat carnivore. You can do carnivore, and I've helped many people do this, just eating basically hamburgers, if that's all you can afford, or maybe roasts that you cook into like stew, into um, um, rib roasts and stuff that are very cost effective and will make you very healthy. Okay? You don't need to spend a lot of money to do this. You just need to get off the junk. That's the most important thing. So, we stand at a crossroads, continuing our current dietary patterns and we potentially will face a dementia epidemic, or recognize the brain diet connection and implement personal and policy changes to protect cognitive health. Um, this is my little stand on this. I will tell you that RFK Jr. is doing a great job in starting to work the government to make sure that they are processing this. There are several well-renowned doctors that are speaking on publicly on this. So this is very important. Okay? Need any help? Leave me a message. Join my coaching program. Get my free daily newsletter, and you'll get all kinds of tips and tricks. Okay? Thank you very much.